environment. So the EPA hasn't approved any pesticides. So that's a big concern. There's land use and habitat impacts, waste management issues, water issues, and two of them being it's hard to obtain sufficient supply of water, and two, how do you process water discharges? So for an outdoor grower, one plant, guess how many gallons of water one plant would take per day to maintain a healthy, viable plant? 2? Good guess. 6 gallons a day. And this is 6 gallons a day per plant. And this is for outdoor use. We live in Minnesota, and of course, we believe that we're going to have a lot of indoor growth operations happening. So that could place a huge significant demand, as we've talked about, in sustainable infrastructure, and as we've seen in our bonding bill that's come through the House, water facilities, water treatment plants, and the chemicals coming back, as well as just needing more infrastructure. The biggest thing I want to just take a peek at real quick is the energy usage. That's on page 4. Just a quick thing, I'll talk about Denver. I won't read through it all, but I do want you to really understand the heavy use and the heavy electrical load that's going to be needed, such as UV lights, and because we're talking indoor growth, up to 16 hours per day, irrigation systems, HVAC systems, air filtering to manage the humidity and the plant organic odors, which some might really enjoy. In Denver, for example, the portion of electricity used to their grow operations doubled in the first 3 years. So after legalization, approaching 5% of their total electricity use in the whole city, which is 2.8 million people. The reason I bring this up is because we've talked a lot about climate change. We've talked about how we can combat that, how we can be responsible and be good stewards of the land. And it's estimated that 0.5 to 15 million metric tons per year will happen, which is roughly equivalent to adding 3.3 million cars to the road. So I think this is significant. I think it's being really, again, I just want to go back to this. I think it's really responsible to be proactive in Minnesota. I had a great high school page. Andrew asked me a quick question today on how come this body doesn't work together? Well, we've seen a few green boards. I wore a green shirt. We're talking about a green thing, and I'd really like you to vote green.
Representative Stevenson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Representative Gilman. I agree with your idea that we need to focus on the environmental impacts of cannabis, which is why the bill does contain a number of provisions related to this. It includes rulemaking authority related to many of the subjects that you referenced. I actually think that there is a world in which we could make an EIS make sense for this bill, but your amendment so far I think isn't quite there. Among other reasons, it asks for an annual EIS, so not one time or after a couple years. We want to do it every single year, and I just think that that's probably not the approach we need to take at this time. So for today, I'm asking for a no vote.
Discussion. Seeing none, the clerk will take the roll on the amendment.
One plant, guess how many gallons of water one plant?
The clerk will close the roll.
It would take
There being 60 ayes and 70 noes, the motion does not prevail. The amendment is not adopted. There's an amendment at the desk. The clerk will report the amendment.
Robbins moves to amend House File Number 100, the 10th, and Grossman as amended. The amendment is coded A113.
Representative Robbins.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think there's been a mistake. That's the Nash amendment. So I will allow him to speak to the amendment.
Representative Nash, would you like to speak to the A113?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The A13, I would request a roll call on.
Two? Good guess.
Representative Nash requests a roll call. Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is very simple. In the bill, it allows for, I believe, 2 ounces to be effectively transferred without cost from one person to another. And I would like to, looking forward at some of the future bills that you have the people who are the transferor and the transferee retain a copy or record of the transfer as described in paragraph A, and any of those attachments for future records for 20 years from the date of transfer. So I think this is by the standard that you're bringing forward to us in a bill I think is coming up one day this week. I think that that's an excellent model to see how you feel about the transfer of cannabis.
Representative Stevenson.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Representative Nash. I, too, am eager to debate the universal background check bill and look forward to that vote tomorrow. But different problems require different solutions. I'd ask for a no vote today.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will take the roll on the amendment.